Tonight, a candid talk with former basketball star Chris Herren on his path to wellness.
The Fall River native's NBA career was derailed by drug and alcohol addiction.
And now sober for nearly 10 years, he just opened the Herren Wellness Rehab Center in Seekonk to help others battling substance abuse.
Eyewitness News anchor Patrick Little has that story new at 5.
Chris Herren spends over 200 days a year traveling across the country, telling his life story to kids of all ages and adults as well, hoping his story will prevent others from traveling down the same path he did for so many years.
Is it day to day? Of course it's day to day. It will always be day to day. But it's a beautiful day, you know?
On August 1st of 2008, Chris Herren began a life of sobriety. Drug and alcohol abuse, starting back in high school in Fall River, almost killed him many times.
The double comes from Strickland. Herren open for 3.
Does that even seem like you?
I don't enjoy seeing clips of me playing for the Celtics. I was extremely sick. I was suffering at that time in my life. Durfee High School, Fresno State. There were some good times, but the Celtics, it was a struggle.
Carlos just knocked down Herren.
Who is that guy?
Oh, that's the young guy. I was unbelievably healthy that year.
And now the 42-year-old Herren wants to help others who are struggling. For the last 9 years, Chris has been traveling the country, telling his story to high schools, colleges, and even professional organizations. And now he's opening a wellness center in Seekonk that bears his name.
This is where people will walk in and kind of meet in the office.
Herren purchased the Jacob Hill Inn in Seekonk and has converted the one-time inn into a 22-bedroom, fully staffed wellness center.
I went to treatment when I was 21 years old. And when I walked into treatment, it was in a very clinical setting. I thought I didn't belong. I listened to other people tell their story and I said, I'm so far away from where they're at. You know, when it comes to addiction, there's this unbelievable stigma that's attached to it. Everybody wants to focus on the worst day and not the first day. Everybody wants to tell people how bad it is in the end instead of addressing the beginning. And that's the void that we want to fill here.
Herren Wellness at Jacob Hill in Seekonk is now open, and although he travels almost 250 days out of every year as a motivational speaker now, Herren plans to be at that facility as often as his schedule allows. I'm Patrick Little, Eyewitness News.
Now, more local coverage. This is Eyewitness News on WPRI 12.
Now, an in-depth look at the opioid crisis in southern New England. We're learning how some treatment centers are adapting the way they provide support.
And we've also uncovered some surprising details on the number of people seeking treatment. Patrick Little has the story that's new at 6.
Drug overdoses are now considered a public health crisis. At 5 o'clock, I sat down with Fall River native and former Boston Celtic Chris Herren, who suffered several overdoses himself. His new rehab center in Seekonk looks to tear down the stigma of substance abuse, a model many others are now using. What are you thinking?
I'm going to cut out a walking trail.
Yeah. Chris Herren has been sober now for almost 10 years. His new wellness center at Jacob Hill in Seekonk opened last week.
I think when it comes to recovery, I think it's been very cookie cutter for years.
He says he wanted to create an environment different from the stereotypical rehab facility.
You know, when it comes to addiction, there's this unbelievable stigma that's attached to it.
That stigma is something other rehab clinics are now targeting.
And unfortunately, we have the best medication and best treatment centers in Rhode Island available, but they're not coming into treatment now because of the stigma attached to heroin, opioid addiction.
Tom Hill is the CEO of the Journey to Hope, Health and Healing, a substance abuse clinic with 3 locations in Rhode Island.
So the last 5 years, there's been probably about 4,800 people actually in treatment in all the treatment centers in Rhode Island. And that number actually hasn't even changed.
The number of treatment centers hasn't increased much either. We checked with the Rhode Island Department of Health, and in the last 5 years, there have been just 8 new licensed opioid treatment providers. Hill says the biggest barrier to people seeking treatment is getting them to see addiction as a medical condition.
That's the switch we need to make in our heads to say, it's a medical illness, I have a medical condition, I need medical treatment.
But while these 2 substance abuse centers may adapt their strategies, the goal remains the same.
Everybody deserves a shot. We just want to tap into what inspires you to what empowers you to get well here, but sustain a healthy lifestyle when you leave here.
Herren tells me his wellness center can accommodate 12 residents at a time, but will eventually have enough space to house 22 people. Meanwhile, the Journey to Hope has centers in Johnston, Westerly, and Providence, with a new location opening in Middletown in April. I'm Patrick Little, Eyewitness News.